Well, listen, let's get ready to start this mock draft. We're going to try to knock out a few of them today. 30-second clock on this one. Try to pick as quick as possible, obviously, but I'm going to be drafting from the 10 spot in this one. Tyler from the 6 spot. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Like I said, make sure to go get your fantasy football training camp tickets. If you have not, FFT camp, obviously down at the bottom there. Appreciate it. We're going to continue to answer questions as they come in. Can you do a mock from the 3 spot? You want 12 team or 3 team, Ryan? Which one you want, 12 team or 3 team? What up, Jayhan? What's your take on Cam Ward? Listen, I think Cam Ward is going to be amazing this year. And I feel like, he might give us scatter production as a rookie, which is fine. But I love where he's going right now. The thing is, I like a lot of quarterbacks this year. It's just, I think Cam Ward has a lot of upside as a thrower. And I think there's just a lot of quarterbacks going ahead of him. So I'd be very comfortable with Cam Ward as my QB2, though. Old Jayhan guy's doing good in Eagles camp. Terrace Marshall. Yeah, I believe it when I see it. I believe it when I see it. Jordan Watkins, a Niners player to watch as the season goes on. To be honest, I don't even know who Jordan Watkins is. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know who Jordan Watkins is.
An offensive player? I'm not as good with defense players just because.
Yeah.
For fantasy, it doesn't matter as much.
Let's go here. I'm gonna go Derrick Henry here. I'm gonna switch it up. Go Derrick Henry, and I'm gonna go with. Let's go St. Brown. Just try something new here. You know who is a Niners player to watch? There's nobody really talking about this. Everybody went to Jacob Cowing as the next player to watch. Juwan Jennings obviously got banged up, wants a 2-year deal. I think he'll be good. Ricky Pearsall out. Brandon Ayuk out. Why is nobody talking about Demarcus Robinson who signed with the Niners this year?
Well, Pearsall is back.
Okay, and say Pearsall is back. Demarcus Robinson is a good receiver. And I think that I think this is a deeper play though. Like if you're looking for next up potential, like somewhat of a flex throughout the year, like a candidate that nobody's talking about, Demarcus Robinson. Why is it not
start?
You take Cowing's upside over Demarcus Robinson's?
I don't want either one of them to be completely honest with you.
I'm just saying that
like Dynasty. I would take Cowan just because like we have no idea. Like he's probably not very good, but we already know Demarcus Robinson is not very good. I think he's like 30 years old. Demarcus Robinson has been around forever.
Yeah, he's been around for me.
And he's like, I'm just not interested in that. I do think it's interesting with Juwan Jennings now, though. Like, is this a serious injury or is this a I want paid injury or traded?
He gonna magically. It's the same thing Terry McLaurin with his ankle.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like this could open the door, though. I've always kind of liked Ricky Pearsall just because last year he got shot, and obviously I feel like you're not the same player for a while. He was a first round pick.
He said, "I like Ricky Pearsall because he got shot."
Well, he got shot. I mean, I feel like you got to give a pass for a guy for at least half the season, right? If he gets shot, and it was like, I'm pretty sure it was like August 31st, so before the season started.
Yeah, it was like right before the season.
And he gets shot, and he got shot. I want to say in the chest, like in the pec.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to imagine like that's got to take a while to really build up strength and get right again, especially for like a receiver. You're using your chest a lot, trying to contested catch stuff. So, I just feel like he's an interesting kind of guy this year that could have ample opportunity, especially like. What happens? Like, you think they're going to pay Jennings? I don't even know what's going on with that whole situation. Honestly,
I think Jennings wants to get paid before the season starts. I don't think he legit wants to hold out, and I think the Niners are probably like, we need to have some kind of insurance in case Brandon Ayuk's not here.
Pay him?
Yeah, and so I think
probably
they'll pay
just
him.
Come down to it.
I think he'll come down. I think he'll get paid though. He knows he's not elite. I think he's just taking advantage of the moment because he knows everybody's hurt.
But like, what does he ask? I don't even know because apparently Terry McLaurin's asking for like more than DK Metcalf, which is 30-some million a year, 33, 34. So he's asking for more of that. No, I understand. So like, what does Juwan Jennings think he's worth? I don't know if there's been reports on the exact number But like, what does he think he's worth? And I mean, he is 28 years old too. Like, he's an older wide. I don't want to say older, but
Yeah.
late breakout kind of guy. Like, are you 49ers? If he's asking for 20 some mil, like 25 mil a year, are you actually going to shell that out for a guy like him? I don't know.
Yeah, he would be a tough player for me to like pay out. I know Jawan Jennings probably deserves more than what he's about to get, but I don't know. When I think about a player like when I think what he can bring to the table, I'm like, it's only going to be for a limited time. Like Jawan Jennings isn't the kind of player that's going to be impactful once Brandon Ayuk's back, like, or once Pearsall becomes the guy. He's the fourth best option, like
Yeah.
at best.
Yeah.
Behind McCaffrey, kid, like he's just to me, he's not like somebody I'm wanting to, run out and break the bank for. But what do y'all think? What do y'all think about this Niner receiver situation? Real quick, when you do a 10-team draft, Tyler, obviously you go in there, and I see you took Bowers early. I took McBride early. Is there anything you do differently in 10 teams? We don't do a lot of 10 teams on here. Mostly we do 12. Is there anything you do differently in 10 teams the way you adjusted, or did you just like the value there?
I like different, like, I just like players who can be league winners, and I think Brock Bowers and Lamar Jackson can be, like, those can be guys who are the top players at the position. I mean, I could have 1, 2, 3, 4. Jeez, look at that start. Yep. That's a nice start.
That is nice.
But yeah, like I personally just put a little bit more of an emphasis on guys who can be number one players at their positions, specifically like the quarter. Once you get outside like the first 2 rounds, and then it kind of opens up a little bit until like a different range of guys. I prefer to go with, like, I would be willing to take Brock Bowers and Trey McBride anytime in the 3rd round, because those could be guys who can be 15, 16, 17 fantasy point type guys at the tight end position, which would be just it'll most likely be a big advantage over
it's one of those things where you think about it, right? Like in a 10-team league, your quarterback and your tight end, you want to have the most elite version of that, because there's probably a similar replacement on waivers.
On waivers, correct.
Yes. And so if I get down to like where Evan Ingram ranges, chances are, like, if a Dalton Kincaid hits or Kyle Pitts hits or somebody
Jonnu Smith from last year.
Huh?
Jonnu Smith from last year. Like, there's going to be somebody like him.
If somebody hits, you can easily replace that player, right? Yeah. Or like there's also a chance like a Mark Andrews, a Dallas Goedert, they don't hit, right? So, but when you are in a 10-team league, it's okay to like press the issue a little bit on at least one. I like doing at least one. I don't like doing both. Typically, let's see how the teams turn out. But I think at least one, because the talent pool is a lot more, right? Like your wide receiver 3 is going to be somewhere in the ranges of like back end wide receiver 2s in 12-team leagues. So I think that there's more comparable players. Like the difference between Mike Evans and let's call it Jameson Williams probably isn't going to be the same as like Trey McBride and TJ Hawkinson. Like Trey McBride is going to be the guy, you know what I mean? Maybe. But I'm just saying, like, the point differential between them is going to be a little bit different.
No, I agree. And like, if everything goes right, I would be kind of surprised if the top 3 tight ends are in the top 3 tight ends. You know what I mean? Like, those guys, they can all be – they all did it last year, 15 fantasy points per game. And I would not be shocked if one of them can potentially – like a guy like George Kittle, where all those options are hurt. Like, he could maybe get up to, like, 17, have a lot of touchdowns and have, 1,100 receiving yards, a decent amount of receptions. Like, he's a good enough player to push that and have a career year. And obviously, like Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, we don't know what the true upside is yet. Like, these guys are so young that they could take another step. And Trey McBride, his biggest thing is just touchdowns. Where
just get some touchdowns. Get more.
Dude could have like 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, which I don't think is even crazy to say. Like, 6 touchdowns. That's like,
I think we see more touchdowns out of him, less yards this year. Like, I think
that could happen where it kind of balances out. Yeah, but he could have the same yards and just more touchdowns. Like that can easily happen. So, yeah, and then with the quarterback position, once again, like Lamar Jackson can get to 25. Like, you're not going to pick up anybody on waivers that's going to get up to 25 fantasy points per game. But like you could get Drake May or Dak Prescott that could be 21 fantasy points per game type thing. So I would just go with the super elite. And if I miss on them, like, it's kind of the same with regular drafts too, honestly. But the more teams it is, the more I would want, like, say it's 14, I would want a guy that I feel pretty good about at the quarterback position to be a
Yes.
quarterback one, rather
Yes.
than like, because it's just like you said, the replacement in 10-team leagues or even like an 8-man league, there's just so many good players on waivers that you can find replacement level players compared to deeper leagues where those guys are just much more difficult to find and are going to
It's
be
weird
snagged up
because
and on
in
benches.
12-team leagues and 14-team leagues, maybe that's where I think quarterback and tight end, it's worth it to wait, right?
Yeah.
Because the talent pool is thin, but then the replacement isn't like there. In an 8 and a 10-team league, you can find replacements. And then when it
Mhm.
gets to 16 teams, there's not a replacement because everybody has a backup. And even 14-team leagues, it starts to get a little bit thinner. So I think in 16-team leagues, it makes sense to take a quarterback a little earlier. It makes sense to take a tight end a little bit earlier. But in your 12-team leagues, 14-team leagues, you can kind of balance it out a little bit better, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah. No, I agree. Damn, Travion Henderson went at 6'2". I was hoping to get him. I'm
Hey,
not
were
gonna
you
lie.
trying to get him right? You thought he was going to be there for you?
Yeah, but like if with it is 3 wide receivers, and I'll take George as my 3rd wide receiver. I feel
Yeah,
pretty solid about that.
George being a lot of training camp love. Calvin really should eat. Keaton, what's good, bro? Yeah, I
He
think
should be pretty solid.
Calvin's gonna have a big year this year.
I like Calvin. I was doing a write up for a video like mid round wide receivers that I really want to target. And I was going back just because I don't want to. I try to like do players that are going at different spots, because if you just say like 5th round wide receivers, like that's fucking lame because you can't grab all of them. So
Right,
like
right.
to have like 1 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. And I was really going back between like him. I know they're not going exactly right next to each other, but really in that range of him and George Pickens. Like, who would you prefer out of those two? It's really close between
I,
both those guys for
I
me.
think it depends on how you build your team, right? Like if I took say I took like Tyreek Hill and Marvin Harrison, then I'm probably leaning more towards like a Pickens in that way, in that range, right? Because I've already kind of taken in some risk. Because I think Pickens is super safe. I think he's
Yeah.
going to be around 1,008, 1,108, right? I think he's going to be somewhere around there if he can stay healthy. Dak stays healthy. He's going to be prolific in that offense. Whereas I think Calvin, really, the range of outcomes is like he could be a 1,300 yard to 1,500 yard guy, like everybody thought he was going to be a couple of years ago. If Cam Ward is good, and if Cam Ward struggles, maybe he's closer to like a 900 to 1,000 yard receiver. So,
Mhm.
and the touchdowns maybe won't be there. But from everything I've seen out of training camp, like Cam Ward looks the part, and it looks like Calvin Ridley's going to have a big role in this offense. You know, you really only have, Eric Alamaner, I think is his last name. You got
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett,
Yeah.
and you got Xavier Restrepo. So it's not like you have a whole lot of competition. Chig Okonkwo, like there's not a whole lot of competition for
Yeah.
targets. So he should get fed. It's just, how does Cam Ward look his rookie year? If you're buying Cam Ward being better than advertised his rookie year, which I kind of think he will be, I think Calvin Ridley's going to have a great year. He should be a top 25 asset wide receiver wise. But if he struggled, and he was even, I want to say, was close to that last year with Will Levis and all the backups that were coming in there. So I kind of think that Calvin Ridley is probably a value where he's going right now. He's been climbing up draft boards, though. I'd rather have him for the upside, Pickens for the floor. Depends on my build.
Yeah. I wrote down Pickens just because also feel like Pickens is a sexier name right now too.
Yeah.
Like I feel like everybody will be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good pick. That's a really good one." Even though it's like it's just perception.
Yeah. That's really what it is. Travis Hunter's been slipping down draft boards. You talked about it
Yeah, he
because a lot of
is.
people are concerned about the workload. I don't know. I'm not as concerned about the workload.
No, I agree. Like, and the thing is too is that once you get into like these middle rounds, like rounds 5, 6, 7, 8, like a lot of the times the best bets are the rookies. Like these are the guys that are going in this range because we don't know what their true upside is. And like a lot of the times too is you're picking guys who are like just mid wide receiver twos anyways. Like I would be shocked if like a guy like Jerry Judy is much more than, like, I know he's a wide receiver one last year, but I feel like he's just going to be a wide receiver two again. Chris Olave, I really like Chris Olave, the player. I'd be shocked if he's anything more than like a mid wide receiver two. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know with uh Travis Hunter,
Travis
and
Hunter,
even
yeah.
like I took RJ Harvey. Like we don't know. Like these guys could be damn good players. Like who knows? Or they could just be
I feel like Hunter, the range of
11.
outcomes for Hunter, though, it's the reason why I guess I would be very cautious about drafting Travis Hunter. And because like when initially when the rankings came out, everybody had him in their top 25 for some reason, right?
Yeah.
And he since has slipped closer to like the 30 range, right? So for me, I would be very hesitant to have Travis Hunter as my wide receiver 2, maybe, and especially in a
Yeah.
10-team league, wide receiver 3. But when he becomes your flex, that's really where you want like either extreme upside or maybe if you miss, now you can have floor. So I think his draft spot has become a lot more like appealing to me because I wouldn't count on Travis Hunter being a 6 target to 8 target receiver every week. There's going to be weeks where he probably gets featured 10 to 12 targets, and then some where he's probably like 2 to 4 targets. And that's the kind of player I think I would want, like kind of like how JMO was last year. Like I think when it's all said and done, we get Travis Hunter probably a top 24-ish type receiver. But I think on a week-to-week basis, one week he's going to be top 5. The next week he's going to be motherfucking outside of top 40. That's tough.
Yeah, and for me, it just comes down to which we won't know. Like I know people are trying to decipher training camp. Like right now, he's playing like he's been playing a lot of defense.
Yeah,
Who knows
they
if
said
in 2
39
weeks?
offensive snaps for every 47 defensive
Yeah.
snaps is what the total was.
What if in 2 weeks now he's playing a lot of offense? And it's like we just don't know. Like and also Travis Hunter is like one of one. We've never had a player like this. Like,
well, and the install for defense is different than the install for offense. Like, and he had a chance. He was only working exclusively with receivers before camp started, like in all the OTAs. Yes, so it's like, of course they're going to work him in more in the defensive. It's more important defensively because one play can literally be the difference between you guys scoring or between the team scoring or not. Versus offense is like he's going to have different roles within the offense.
Yeah, so we'll see. Like, I understand there's definitely risk. But like those are the type of players that I love to take just because I do think the upside for him is I think he's a great prospect. Like in terms of receiver, even just as a receiver, I think he's great. And he has him and Brian Thomas Jr. could be just such a great pairing. So I love taking, especially for where he's currently going, because like you said, he's been falling down draft boards, and I think he's gonna fall even more because I think like the normals, your casual people will not want to take him for like a lot of them because there will be too much risk. And I've already started like seeing it. So many people are, oh, he's going to be a defensive player. A lot of my friends I've seen even talk about it. Like, why would anybody? So like, I'm fine with it. Like that's kind of risk that I love to take. So
there's no way he's just a defensive player. He's too good of an asset for them to do that, man. It just doesn't make sense for them to cap a player that wants to play offense and defense. You draft him probably more so to be a receiver, especially when you think about the receivers that they brought in this offseason. You bring in Diami Brown. You already have Parker Washington. You get rid of Evan Ingram. It's like it opens up a lane offensively for Travis Hunter to play a role. Like Brian Thomas, you draft him last year. You get Travis Hunter, another guy now, for Trevor Lawrence, who you're trying to help. Like you don't get him to just play defense if you're trying to help out one of your main guys. So I think they will sprinkle in like other offensive weapons. Like that's why I think we're seeing ETN getting played at receiver and slot. But this could be a fun offense to be a part of. I've been really buying a lot of like the Jacksonville offense. I've been buying a lot of the Indy offense and a lot of the Atlanta offenses. Those are the 3 offenses I think might be supremely undervalued in the fantasy community right now, like in a major way.
I like Jacksonville a lot for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm okay with the other ones too. I like the wide receivers for Indy personally. I like taking both of them. I think they're both really good wide receivers, and they go really cheap. Where I'm fine with both those guys.
Yeah, I like it there. I like it. All right. Question came in. Actually, talk about this draft real quick. How are you feeling about your squad right now? I feel really good about my team. I'm probably going to grab a running back to end this thing off, but I feel really good about like floor upside is really where I was trying to manage. I didn't get the upside running back that I wanted right there, but I'm probably going to take an upside running back here in my last pick. How are you feeling about your draft? Because I always try to in 10-team leagues. I think you have to have enough. You have to have enough upside to win your league because everybody's going to have talent, and I think that's why I really advocate for 12-team leagues. I think there's more strategy involved. But for those doing 10-team leagues, I think you have to try to lean into upside plays a little bit more. That's why I went with the T. Higgins and Xavier Worthy, a Travis Hunter. I was like, okay, Justin Fields. Let me try to get a little bit more upside. How do you play 10-team versus 12-team, or is it a similar thought process for both?
It's like the one big thing is, like I said, I would attack those position players.
And I did it on your pick on purpose, bro. I was like, hold on a second. Let me throw this question at him right as soon as he's
I
about to
feel
make his pick. So I
I
did
don't
that on
know if I
purpose.
want to go with. There's a couple. I'll just go with Juwan Jennings, whatever, and I'll get a running back last. I mean, for me personally, I mean, I love my team just because, like, the first 4 picks, I could arguably have the number 1 player at each position. I wouldn't be
Yeah,
shocked by that. Now, the one thing that even it's so small, like the Jordan Addison thing, I didn't realize I had both those guys, but like, hey, I think Jordan Addison's been a solid wide receiver to start his career, and if JJ McCarthy is really good, which I don't know, I have my doubts.
yeah,
That could work out, but I would have went with somebody else there personally. But other than
yeah,
that, I mean, I like my team. I think that there's a lot of upside in the later picks too, with like an RJ Harvey, even a Tyrone Tracy. I know that Cam Scattaboo had a good catch the other day, but like, I'm not overreacting to a highlight clip of a guy catching a
yeah.
football. I'll take a guy that I just like a process pick. So
I think Tracy's still the one. I don't understand this.
yeah,
Like Scatteroo is more of a, to be honest, where I kind of think he's like a plotter to me. He doesn't really come off as like this
100%.
every down back. So I don't understand why people are thinking maybe he takes over. I just don't really
Yeah,
see it. But
and the one thing that I'll say for Scattaboo is like a lot of the um film community did really like him. But one thing that was always the kind of thing that they've said was they don't know if he has the athleticism to matter in the NFL, like be the kind of back that you need to be in the NFL, which we'll see. Time will tell. But the one thing that I'll say with Tracy is that he didn't get high draft capital, so he is replaceable. But so neither did Cam Scattaboo. But like, it's just going to be an interesting backfield to see how it works out. Just because I don't know if we truly know. But for me personally, like Tyrone Tracy was pretty good last year in this offense. He had the opportunity. I think he's very athletic, and also people forget like that was his second year playing running back. He was a converted wide receiver, so I think for a second year running back as a rookie in the NFL, I think he did a pretty good job in that. Yes, he is an older back, but once again, he's new at the position where he could take a step in year 2 and he could be even better than what he was last year. And he's cheap. Like, it's not like you're paying a high-end draft pick for him. You win the 9th round. I'm okay with either one of them, whoever you think is, because it's a cheap backfield to target.
yeah, I'm with you there. How you feeling about this mock draft? I feel really good about how my team turned out. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 things I would have done a little differently. But as far as your team or any others that you see, is there any that kind of stick out to you?
I would say I do like the what team was it? That team 8. I like team 8.
Yeah, team 8 is stacked. Team 8
Team
did
8
it.
that's a good build there. I mean, it's hard to hate teams just because it is a 10
especially
team. You know
10
what I
team
mean?
and this early in the
Yeah.
offseason too.
But I think that everybody I do think that one just because I love the running backs and I love, the wide receivers that he has. Yeah.
I was
I
going
would
through
say 8.
quick look through, and that was the team that kind of stood out to me too. Ice traded a good job too, bro. It's just I feel like with some of the, I think that's a really good team too. You need, if Mark Andrews and Dak hit, that'll be a really good team. Toker Jones did a good job too if Tyler Warren hits. Yeah, I feel like there's 10 team is tough because every team looks the part.
Yeah,
Like especially when
looks
we do a lot of
pretty
12
good.
team drafts.